Richard Branson is one of the billionaires with the most public profile in the world. He is famous for his daring spirit, groundbreaking ideas, and prosperous business endeavors. He has built an empire consisting of a number of prosperous businesses operating under the umbrella of the Virgin Group. These businesses include the extremely successful airline known as Virgin Atlantic, in addition to dozens of other businesses that sport the Virgin brand and concentrate on a wide variety of business sectors, such as hotels and telecommunications. In point of fact, Branson's accomplishments were so noteworthy that in 1999, the Queen of England bestowed a formal knighthood upon him in recognition of his contributions to the field of entrepreneurship. Although Branson has an impressive track record as an entrepreneur, his three most recent ventures, Virgin Galactic, Virgin Orbit, and Virgin Hyperloop, have been total failures and have threatened to put his entire empire out of business. The goal of the space tourism company known as Virgin Galactic is to provide $450,000 tickets for rides into space that last for 90 minutes. When the company first went public through a merger with one of Chamath Palihapitiya's facts, there was a great deal of excitement surrounding the venture. However, as of right now, the company has never taken a single paying customer into space, and it is spending nearly $2 million worth of cash every single day. Welcome to Financial Fortune, the channel that keeps you up to date on the latest business news and trends. In today's video, we'll be discussing Richard Branson, one of the most successful and high-profile businessmen in the world. However, despite his numerous successes, his recent business ventures, including Virgin Galactic, Virgin Orbit, and Virgin Hyperloop, have encountered numerous setbacks and become costly disasters. Join us as we explore what went wrong and what this means for the future of Branson's business empire. Virgin Galactic. They weren't very innovative when it came to making new technologies, but in 2004, Branson started Virgin Galactic, a company that promised to take paying customers into space. At first, Branson said that he would start sending people into space by 2007, just 3 years after he started the company. But making spaceships isn't easy, of course. It's so hard that it's not even funny. The company has had many problems and delays over the years, including a fatal crash in 2014 in which a test pilot died. They made their first successful space flight more than 10 years after the first target. This successful flight put them in a good position to go public in 2019 through one of Chamath Palihapitiya's plans, and be worth $3.7 billion. In their SPAC presentation, they said that they expected their first commercial launch to happen in either the first or second quarter of 2020. Even though it's been 3 years since this video was made, Virgin Galactic still hasn't flown a single passenger. In 2021, Branson himself took a test flight. But there is a big difference between having the technical ability to fly into space once and being able to get regulatory approval to start flying a lot of commercial passengers. In 2021, Richard Branson was sued by a group of shareholders who said that Virgin Galactic sent broken rockets into space on purpose and lied to investors about this. The lawsuit says that after every flight, cracks showed up on the wings of their spaceship, and some of them were never fixed. So much so that Virgin Galactic uses planes with wings that look like spider webs or cracked eggshells. Virgin Galactic has been trying for 15 years to start a commercial space tourism service, but it hasn't been able to do so. The company is also losing money at a rate of almost $2 million per day. Now, they are in a race against time to get regulatory approval before they go out of business. Also, even if they do get permission, it would only take one mass death to change how people think about space tourism. Branson has put money into more than one high-tech company besides Galactic. Virgin Hyperloop. In 2017, he put money into the California company Hyperloop One, became its chairman, and changed the company's name to Virgin Hyperloop. A Hyperloop is a vacuum-sealed tube that lets a pod of transportation move at very high speeds, because it doesn't have to move against anything. The idea makes sense from a scientific point of view, and a Hyperloop pod can go much faster than a car or even a maglev train. Hyperloop envisioned building Hyperloop stations all over the world could give people a low-cost alternative to flying that leaves less of an impact on the environment. But there is a difference between what is scientifically possible and what is economically viable. The surface of the Earth is not flat. There are hills, valleys, and many other natural and man-made obstacles. If you built a Hyperloop system around the obstacles, the pod would have to slow down a lot every time it turned, which would be the opposite of what you want it to do. The other option is to build a platform that is higher than any obstacles on the ground. The problem is that doing this would cost billions of dollars and make flying cheaper. The idea was basically doomed to fail from the start, even though the technology is good. In 2022, Hyperloop said it would lay off about half of its employees and stop working on plans to move people. Now, they are making a Hyperloop system that will move goods quickly from ports to distribution warehouses. When you take into account the huge capital costs of setting up such a system, it will be more expensive than sending goods by semi-truck and will only work for goods that need to be delivered quickly. Also, by 2020, all of the money that Branson put into Virgin Hyperloop will have been spent, so they had to sell a majority stake to a company in Dubai called DP World. This made Branson's share of the company much smaller, and he is now only a minority shareholder. Even if Hyperloop's new plan for moving cargo works, it's a long way from what Branson had in mind for a revolutionary new way to move people. Virgin Orbit. The goal of the space launch company Virgin Orbit is to put small satellites into low Earth orbit. Instead of launching the rocket vertically from the ground, the launcher is lifted into the air by a 747 airplane that has been changed. The 747 drops the rocket launcher, which is then shot into low Earth orbit by a rocket. The air launch method saves a lot of money because the rocket gets a head start and needs much less energy than a traditional launch from the ground. Virgin Orbit went public by merging with a SPAC, just like Virgin Galactic did, but there were a few reasons to be more optimistic about Virgin Orbit's future. When they went public, they had already had 2 successful launches, which showed that their technology worked. Also, Virgin Orbit doesn't send people into space, so there are a lot less rules to follow when it comes to safety. Their first 2 successful launches took place in California, where the launcher was made. However, the UK government wanted to build up their own space industry, so they gave Virgin Orbit £7.35 million to do their next launch in Cornwall, England. In addition to being cheaper than a launch from the ground, one of the best things about Virgin Orbit was that it could be launched from any normal runway. The next launch will be in Cornwall. Not only do they get money from the government, but they have also shown the world that they can launch satellites from places other than California. The launch was set to happen from Cornwall in January 2023. After the rocket took off, there was a problem with the fuel filter that caused the rocket to fail. The rocket and the 9 satellites it was carrying were all destroyed. Horizon Technologies, a new company, was the owner of one of the satellites. Horizon spent $4 million building this satellite, and if it doesn't work, it could put the company out of business. This turned out to be a terrible thing for Virgin Orbit. Because of this failure, other customers will be reluctant to launch their satellites with the company, since losing a satellite can be very expensive. While this was going on, Virgin Orbit ran out of money and had no time to waste. As of the time this video was made, they had stopped working in March 2023 and sent almost all of their staff on unpaid leave. Virgin Orbit is said to have sold the majority of its equity stake to an outside investor for $200 million. If this deal goes through, the company may live to fight another day, but Branson's stake in the company will be greatly reduced. Since the stock has lost more than 90% of its value since going public, this venture is a clear failure. Reasons for failure. Richard Branson has built a huge business empire with Virgin Group. Virgin Records, Virgin Atlantic, and Virgin Media have all done very well for him. His smart innovations, customer experience, and marketing campaigns made him very rich and gave him a lot of praise. But as his wealth and ambition grew, it seems like Branson became more and more interested in Elon Musk's meteoric rise to fame, especially after SpaceX made a big step forward. Branson started Virgin Galactic in Virgin Orbit because he wanted to make sure he had a place in the growing world of private space travel. It was definitely appealing to think that people would remember him as a pioneer in space tourism instead of just a successful airline and telecommunications business owner. Also, the original idea of the Hyperloop, which was first proposed in 2013, seemed to make Branson even more competitive, which led him to invest in Virgin Hyperloop. But it looks like Branson's attempt to catch up to Musk in terms of technology and media attention may have been his downfall. Branson's investments in space ventures and the Hyperloop failed because he had no experience in these fields. This story shows how dangerous it can be to follow someone else's dreams instead of focusing on your own strengths and areas of expertise. In your opinion, what is Richard Branson like? Is it realistic to expect either space company to become profitable? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below. We hope you found our analysis of Richard Branson's recent business ventures informative and insightful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more engaging business news and analysis. Thanks for watching.